Welcome. Thank you for being here. My name is Jorge Salas, and we're going to talk today about Kingdoms of Peru, a truly unique pioneering itinerary. But before we get into the details of the expedition, I want to mention a little bit about New Paths expeditions, especially for those who this is their first contact with New Paths. That's me. I am Jorge. I founded New Paths Expeditions 10 years ago. I've been in the industry for 30 years and held C-level positions in some of the most recognized brands in the US before founding New Paths. And we specialize in travel to remote destinations in small groups and unique itineraries that have the perfect pacing and balance nature and culture. We always have a senior leader accompanying our groups and master local guides. Senior leaders normally have 20 to 25 years of experience or more, and a master degree or a PhD. And our master local guides and naturalists are really the best ones in each destination. We spend a lot of time selecting and training our guides. And also, the quantity and quality of content that we provide during our expeditions is extremely important for us. On a lot of our destinations, we include lecturers and meeting luminaries. Like, for example, in this photo, that's Dr. Walter Alba and his wife. He's the discoverer of the Lord of Sipan. We are at his house with one of our groups. That's me having a great time with him. And also, for example, another example is Sahi Hawass, the main archaeologist in Egypt. When we go to Egypt, we normally close these things for our group. Yes, we close it for our group, and he give us a lecture there. And we have Ed Smith from the Smithsonian in Madagascar, and so on. Quality of content is very important. And unique events are very important for us. And we have 10 years, as I mentioned. This is our anniversary, so we are very happy and glad. And we have operated during these 10 years on 58 countries around the world and destinations around the world. And we are very proud of what we have achieved in these first 10 years. And some interesting numbers is that 68% of travelers take 2 or more trips with us every year. And 97% of those who try New Paths expeditions for a first time decide to book again. So we're very proud about that. And thank you, everybody, for allowing this to happen. So let's get into the subject of the day, Kingdoms of Peru. Again, a unique and pioneering itinerary. So, but first of all, why Kingdoms of Peru? So everybody thinks, when you think about Peru, you think about Machu Picchu. And that is fantastic. It's an incredible destination. But the truth is that Machu Picchu Peru has so much. And Machu Picchu projects a shadow over a lot of the other highlights that this country has. Here I'm showing a view of South America, and we're going to be exploring the coast in this area. But as you can see, it's a very big area. And in this area, Machu Picchu is down here, but the Incas were an empire only for 80 years. Before them, there were a lot of other cultures that existed that they were extremely advanced. And those are the ones that we're going to be exploring and visiting and learning during Kingdoms of Peru. On the map on the left-hand side, you can see is the map of the Inca roads, the Capacñan, that we know until today. Actually, we know a little bit more. It goes a little bit further to the north and gets into the Amazon basin, further into it. But all these roads were not actually built by the Incas. Before them, other cultures built them. We know of 2 other empires that existed in South America before the Incas. So the Incas used the advanced conquest and took advantage of the advances and constructions that previous groups built. Here is one of the documents that we give you during the Kingdoms of Peru expedition, and you can see the different cultures in the different years that existed. And here at the end is the Incas. All this area is full of archaeological remains. And of course, in the Andes, Peru is a vertical country. In the Andes, there's a lot of rain. And anything that was not built in stone was lost. Textiles got rotten, pottery was washed out. But in the very thin Pacific coast, that's a desert, cut by very few rivers that create narrow valleys. Because it's a desert, the preservation of everything that was made of clay and textiles and the mummies. They all remain. So the amount of remains is impressive. So we're going to be exploring again all these cultures that you see here, with some of the main ones that you can see here. But also, I want to mention that I want to show you an early map of the Vice Kingdom of Peru that used to be all of South America at the very beginning of the Vice Kingdom. And Lima was the capital of this Vice Kingdom. So also the remains and what is left of the colonial era, or the Vice Kingdom era to say it properly, it's tremendous. And again, another view of Peru. So we're talking, we already spoke about the pre-Incas and the Incas, the Vice Kingdom, all this legacy we're going to be exploring and learning about, but also this diversity, the coast, the Andes, and the Amazon rainforest make of a mega diverse country. Actually, it is the country with the highest diversity of birds in the planet, of orchids, of hummingbirds, and an impressive number of mammals. And it is also because of this diversity, geographical diversity that we get. Peru is the country that has provided the world with more agricultural products than any other countries. Everybody thinks about potatoes, but corn, hot peppers. We can, when you come, we will talk a lot about that. So the diversity is tremendous, not only historically, but in wildlife and also in agricultural products. And of course, the Peruvian food is one of the most diverse of the in the world, and now it's becoming famous. So we will be enjoying lots of fantastic food. And this is why you need to do Kingdoms of Peru. These are, I'm just going to put this slide for less than a minute, but you can see some of the comments of previous explorers of Kingdoms of Peru. While I have a look at it, while I take a sip of water and we get into the details of Kingdoms of Peru. So let's begin. Kingdoms of Peru, it all begins with a trip from your city to Lima, Peru, a modern city, a beautiful city. And as soon as you arrive, normally flights arrive in the afternoon or evening. And we pick you up, of course, first class vehicle, bottle of water, and we transfer you to the Miraflores district, one of the most beautiful of the country. And you stay at the Iberostar Hotel. This is a 5-star hotel, perfectly located in front of the ocean, close to shopping areas, great restaurants. All the top restaurants that you might have heard that Lima has are very close to the hotel, great shopping areas. It's a fantastic area. And then we go to bed at our 5-star hotel. And the next morning we depart relatively early, not super early, but relatively early. And then we drive for about 3 hours. In the map, on the right-hand side, you have the map of the expedition. So we start that morning and day 2 from Lima, and we travel south to Chincha. Along the way is quite interesting. We're going to be crossing the desert, which I find beautiful. The road is very good, as you can see, and we use this time to give you a complete overview of the country, its natural regions, its history. This is a geographic orientation. It's very complete. The talk is very important. And when we arrive to Chincha, and in Chincha, the first activity is to visit the Bayumbrosio family. Chincha, and this is El Carmen district, it's the main hub of the Afro-Peruvian culture, which is extremely important in Peru because of music, because of their dances. It's really important. And the Bayumbrosio family is an award-winning, extremely famous musical and dancing family of the Afro-Peruvian culture, and we get access to their home. It's a fantastic time. After we spend time and learn about the Afro-Peruvian culture with the Bayumbrosio family, we drive for about 10 minutes and we get to Hacienda San Jose that you can see there. It's a beautiful hacienda from the 1600s. It's really beautiful with wonderful gardens. And of course, that's where we enjoy our first pisco sour. And then we proceed to have lunch, our first lunch in Peru, all of traditional dishes the right way with beautiful views. But also, this is the colonial era. We visit the church. It's a beautiful, tiny little church, but very old. And they have catacombs at the hacienda San Jose. It's a very complete visit. The first day, we immerse ourselves in colonial era, no? The Afro-Peruvian community and the old haciendas and how the trade of slaves sadly occurred, but also how the Vice Kingdom evolved and the legacy of food and pisco sours. Wonderful. And then the day ends with, then we drive for what, 30 minutes, and we get to this beautiful hotel at the Paracas Reserve. It's a nature reserve. Right beside the reserve, there's our hotel. That's the view of my room on the last strip. You can see the room on the low right-hand corner. And there also we freshen up. And before we proceed to dinner, the hotel, we really enjoy this hotel because it has a private museum of pre-Inca artifacts that is fantastic. We do the visit of the museum, then we enjoy dinner, which is very good. The next morning, we depart. I wanted to show you this photo so you can see the quality and the kind of vehicle that we have. By the way, we keep 25% of empty seats at least on all our expeditions around the world. And that morning, you have the option to the Nasca Lines overflights. The Nasca Lines, for those who don't know, are these impressive lines, drawings that were discovered in the mid 1900s, and they cover a really big area. On the left-hand side image, you can see the size of the whole valley where these drawings are. The middle photo shows you a trapezoid. These are the most common lines of the Nazca lines, and where these trapezoids and straight lines they go for miles when they when they interject in those areas is where you find the fine drawings like the hummingbird that you can see on the low right hand corner. This flight is not included, meaning that we pay for the flight separately because some of our guests have already been to the Nazca Lines, but they decide to take Kingdoms of Peru because of all the other components. So some people don't like small planes. By the way, we use Aerodiana, this airline. This is the best airline. It has the green light, meaning it's the safest. And they are a really respected company, and that's the only one we use for our overflights. After the flight, we go to a very small museum, but that has a nice collection of the former skulls. Of course, at this point, we have already spoke, and we go over the Nazca and Paracas cultures, which were some of the most advanced ones of the pre-Inca cultures, and they are the ones who deformed heads. They were also the first humans to ever practice brain surgery, and also the ones that have the best and the highest quality of textiles anywhere in the planet. I don't want to get into all the details because we're going to do that during the trip, but this is an extremely important culture. And from this visit, we are going to drive for about an hour, during which we're going to be talking about the Nazca and Paracas cultures. And then we get to this hacienda, which is Tacama Hacienda. This is the first vineyard in South America, one of the oldest in the Americas, Tacama Vineyard. It's beautiful. And there we have a wonderful afternoon because first we do the visit of the hacienda and the production of pisco and the production of wine. Then we enjoy lunch. And then we have an event that for me it's extremely important. I love horses, and the Peruvian Paso Fino horse, the Paso Fino horse with the most delicate and elegant walk of the world. And also we have, of course, a sampling of pisco and wine at this hacienda. And then we return to our wonderful hotel to enjoy the sunset, right? We go for dinner at the hotel, very comfortable. And then the next morning we wake up and we take this private boat and we go to visit the Ballestas Islands, which is about an hour and 20-minute navigation from our hotel. We depart exactly from the pier of our hotel, very comfortable. The first thing that we will do on the boat excursion is that we're going to see the Candelabro, which is this figure on a hill that it seems that it's not, we don't know who made it. It has been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. We don't know if it's related or not to the Nazca lines. It seems they are not, but it's certainly, we stop for a little while and then we get to the Ballestas Islands. That's the view from the distance. But Ballestas Islands is full of birds, all the birders and photographers are going to be amazed with this. And of course, we have Humboldt penguins and Nazca boobies. The bird diversity here is impressive. And then after that, we return to the hotel, we check out, and then we drive back to Lima. And before entering Lima, we stop at this hacienda to have lunch and another pisco sour, of course, because you deserve it. And in this area, they also have horses. And if you want to ride one, you're going to have the opportunity to ride a little bit if you enjoy this. But we stop here because this is the area of Pachacamac. And Pachacamac is this is close to Lima again. Pachacamac was a god, a trading point, and also a religious point that existed since hundreds of years before the Incas, but it was also maintained by the Incas. Again, the Incas took advantage and conquest and absorbed not only the constructions of previous groups, but also their gods and their traditions. And this was the most important, Pachacamac, the most important trading post in the coast of South America, and also one of the most important gods. And they have a wonderful museum, a brand new museum, and we're going to visit the museum, we're going to visit the remains, and then we drive for about another hour, and we return to the wonderful five-star hotel in Miraflores, Lima, Peru. We spend the night there. That's the only dinner that is not included. And why? Because sometimes they arrive are a little tired. People will like to have only the room service, but of course the leader will offer you, which by the way, this year I'm going to be the leader, will offer you to go out to one of the great restaurants in the city, And then the next morning, we do a lot. It's a day in Lima, and it begins by going to a market. I didn't put a photo here because of a space, but we go to a local market. Again, Peru has an extreme diversity of agricultural products. We're going to learn about that. And then we go to that beautiful house that you see on the left hand of the slide. Beautiful. It's called Ayahuasca. It's a beautiful place. And there we're going to have a cooking class. After the cooking class, of course, we enjoy lunch there, what we cooked. Well, of course, ceviche is going to be part of it, but if you don't eat fish, or we can accommodate any dietary requirements. And then in the afternoon, we drive around the city. We see the Barranco district, which is the Bohemian district. We see some pre-Inca temples that are in the middle of the city. And then you have time for shopping at a couple of different places that I will take you. And then we go back to the hotel, freshen up. And the next morning, we go to this area that is called this restaurant that you can see there, that is called Huacapuquiana. Huacapuquiana is one of the multiple pre-Inca temples that exist in the middle of Lima. And at night they illuminate it. It's beautiful, and we have a wonderful first-class dinner there, which is an experience that everybody who comes to Lima should have. We go to bed, and then the next morning, we fly to Chiclayo. The flight is about an hour, more or less. So you can see we go to the north and we fly to Chiclayo. As soon as we arrive, we fly in the morning. We have guaranteed early check-in for everybody. So we go to the airport, we fly, we go to the hotel, you check in early, you rest. This is a 3-star hotel. It's the best one that exists. There's nothing better in the downtown. Air conditioning, it works perfectly. The rooms are ample, and we have time to rest. We have lunch at the hotel, and then after that, after lunch, we drive to Tucumán. The first stop is at this beautiful place in the countryside where this wonderful lady, she's a hoot, she's really fantastic, and she shows us how to prepare a pachamanca in the north of Peru style. Pachamanca, pacha means earth, manca means pot. So this is a pot in the earth, like a mumu, if you have seen it in other parts of the world. This is the Peruvian style. They will show us how to make it. We'll put it underground, we cover it, and then we proceed to the Museum of Tucumán. Tucumán is an area where the Mochica Chimu culture evolved, and there's multiple pyramids, as you can see. Our wonderful Luis, this is our local guide, multiple temples, wakas, pyramids. It is here that Thor Heyerdahl, this gentleman that you're seeing in the center, lower center of the slide, Thor Heyerdahl, this guy, this gentleman, this explorer that threw himself on a raft and floated all the way to Polynesia, got inspired because of some frescoes, and not frescoes, some drawings on the walls of these pyramids. And they have a wonderful museum, and we walk around the pyramids. This is an incredible and unique visit of one of the most outstanding pre-Inca remains that exist anywhere. And then after this cultural visit and museum visit, we return and we take our food out of the ground. The ladies start serving us when we have a glass of wine or a soft drink, and then we enjoy a wonderful dinner very close to the pyramids of Tucume. We go back to the hotel, we spend the night, and then the next morning we meet this gentleman on the top left part of this photo of the slide. This is Fernando Angulo Pratalongo. He is a rock star of the birding world. He has won multiple times the Birdman the competition, the Bird Day competition. And with him, we go to the Bosque de Pomac. Bosque de Pomac is one of the most threatened habitats in the world. It's a dry forest, but one that has one of the highest diversities of bird species anywhere in the planet. And we spend the morning with him there, very light walking, looking for endemics. If you're a birder, we guarantee multiple endemics here. And after this wonderful experience, we go back to Chiclayo, the city, and we go to one of the greatest culinary experiences of your life, without doubt. That's Fiesta Restaurant, but the original one in Chiclayo. This is one of the pioneers of fine dining in Peru. It all started here, and we go early for dinner, and we have a unique, wonderful lunch. You're going to sample everything. Again, we can accommodate any dietary requirements. After this, we go back to the hotel early, and we give you a couple of hours to relax. Remember, we woke up, we did birding, we had a wonderful, fantastic lunch. We go back to the hotel, you relax, you freshen up, and then we depart for one of probably the best museum that I have ever visited anywhere in the world, and that's the Museo Tumbas Reales de Sipan. This is the Lord of Sipan. The Lord of Sipan was discovered in the 1980s by Dr. Alba, that you can see in the lower, Dr. Alba, you can see him in the lower right-hand photo of the slide. And just to make it short, I'm going to say that this is a ruler, very important ruler, that his tomb has more gold in weight and precious artifacts than that of Tutankhamun. So imagine how rich this tomb is. I know a lot of people have not heard from him in the US, but this is bigger than Tutankhamun. And we visit the museum. We have planned this year because Dr. Alba, has his age. His son, who is conducting research all over the area of Chiclayo and Lambayeque. He's going to be with us during the visit. I cannot show you a lot of the precious stones and gold of the museum because photos are forbidden. We had to get special permits to show you these ones. But his son, Dr. Salva's son, who is the head archaeologist of the area, he will be with us. And hopefully, if Dr. Alba his health and everything is going well, we will visit his home and hopefully enjoy a beer with him or a soft drink with him and have a chat that he can tell us the story of how the tomb was discovered, which is a unique one. After this incredible experience with the Lord of Sipan, we go to a peña. This is a small house, a very 300-400-year-old house where this very old last name of Peru. They make wonderful, simple, but wonderful dinner for us. And they bring a peña, which is musicians and dancing. So we were going to be able to see a lot of different dances and traditions of Peru before we returning to our hotel to enjoy the night. And the next morning, we switch gears and we depart to go to Chaparri Reserve. This is now all about nature. Along the way, we stop at what you're seeing there is the Tinajones reservoir, and it's a great spot for birding. In that way, we break the leg. The drive is about 2 hours and a half, something like that. And we're at about an hour and a half, we stop at Tinajones for bird watching. And then after that, we arrive to Chaparri Reserve. Chaparri Reserve is a communal reserve, one of the first ones in the country, but it is managed by a family of nature photographers, the Plench, and they work together with a community. This is a very basic lodge, but it's very comfortable. The food is fantastic, but we stay only one night because it's a basic lodge, but it's a great reserve, and they are famous because of the spectacle birds. And we want to support them because not only they have spectacle birds in the wild, which we cannot guarantee that we're going to see, we will try, of course, but also they have a rescue center for birds that were found in not the greatest conditions in the past. So we want to support them. But it is in here that we have also the opportunity to do some incredible birding. And you can see the bird, this white-winged one that you can see, that I think that you can see my mouse here, which was thought extinct, and then it was rediscovered in the area, and now the population is extremely healthy. And they have, of course, wonderful reptiles in the area. The number of endemic species here that you're going to be able to see is quite unique. Hummingbirds all over, and also we arrive in the afternoon, we do the walk, we look for birds, for birds. We have wonderful meals, simple but very clean, wonderful. We go for walks. The next morning we wake up and they have this little pond very close to the main house of the lodge. And it's a classic to go and wake up and go and see the hummingbirds take a bath in the morning. And then we go for our walk, and hopefully we're going to be able to get these wonderful photos of my friend Plench. He shared these photos. Most of the other photos are mine. You can see these wonderful photos of his, and he's going to be there with us also. The next morning, in this slide, I'm actually showing 2 days. The next morning, we finish the day. We do the morning excursion in Chaparri, and then after lunch, we drive back to Chiclayo. Along the way, there's a tradition in this area. They believe in sorcerers. So we must stop and see the tradition. It's not something set up for tourists. This is actually that the people of the area follow. What is this tradition? How do they practice it? We will stop and see it. Then we go to bed at our wonderful hotel. And then the next morning we wake up and we go to the market of Chiclayo, and then we drive to Pacasmayo. Pacasmayo is about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half drive from Chiclayo. Very good road. It's a town that has one of the best waves for surfing. Surfing is very big in Peru, especially in the coast of Peru, of course. And this is a break point. We have lunch there, and then we continue another hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes to get to this museum and temple that you can see covered in the end. This is the Lady of Cow. And the Lady of Cow is the oldest female ruler ever to be found anywhere in the planet. The museum is small, but it's splendid, with really unique pieces. And the mummy of the Lady of Cow is there. And I show you a small piece of the mummy to see how the tattoos that this lady had, one of her dresses. It's really impressive. And we will visit also the temple where she was found buried, which is full of this unique carvings and once we visit all, this is something quite unique that you're not going to find anywhere else. This museum and archaeological site is maintained by the Vice Foundation. And they have resident archaeologists that are researching and excavating the area. And we have obtained a special permit to visit the back of the house and the labs. So they are going to show us, and they always do, pottery all the pieces that are not on display and that are still under research, like this wonderful pottery. You can see the amount of pieces that they have. Textiles, look at the quality of those textiles, and they're going to show us many of them. I'm just putting a couple here. Mummies, and even mummies of babies. This is truly a unique. So remember, we got Walter Alba and Walter Alba's son, at Sipan. Now we have back access to the back of the house of the Lady of Cow Research Station. This is part of the things that only Kingdoms of Peru with New Paths expeditions can offer. And then after this, we drive for about 1 more hour, and we remember, and after Chiclayo, we were at a 3-star hotel. We arrive at a DoubleTree 5-star hotel to spend the night, and we have dinner at the hotel because we had a long day. Not super long, by the way. Everything, the pacing is very important for us, but you're gonna have time. We are gonna rest and have dinner at the hotel. Wonderful 5-star hotel, perfectly located. Love the place. The next morning, it starts with magnificently. It's one of my favorite days, and it is when we go to Chan Chan. Chan Chan is the biggest mud citadel in the world, and it's the biggest pre-colonial era city of all the Americas. It used to house 100,000 inhabitants during its peak, and this is before the Incas. And the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go and see this map of Chan to understand it, and it is here that we're going to have a National Geographic grantee that is researching the area that is going to be with us. So this is another unique event. I reserve the name of this grantee because there are actually 3 working in the area, and of course they travel. We have guaranteed that one of them is going to be there with us. And then after we visit this site museum, we go and visit the remains. They are wonderful. They are unique. We have one of the grantees there that you can see him. It's a wonderful Lucho, our wonderful local guide, a master local guide also with us. The Chan is impressive to say the least. You have to come and visit. And after Chan, we drive for about 30 minutes and we go to Huanchaco, another very famous world surfing spot. The first thing that we do is that we go to Big Ben Restaurant. That's the name of the restaurant, where we have another cooking class, but with the northern part of Peru, and a wonderful lunch. This is one of the greatest restaurants in the country. And then after we do that, we cross the road to the beach. It's right there. And that's where the Caballitos de Totora, reed boats that have been used for thousands of years in this area, but all by all the pre-Inca cultures that inhabited this area, and they are still used until today. And they are used for fishing and for surfing. And yes, to my friends from the US, especially from Hawaii, I know that we have a couple on this webinar, attending this webinar. In Peru, we say that it said that surfing started in Peru. So we can debate about that, enjoying a pisco sour. We are here in Huanchaco. And if anyone wants, of course, we're going to see a demonstration. We're going to see the reed boats. It's a short excursion, but we also allow some guests in the past decided to give it a try and get on one of those boats for a little while. And of course, if you are of an adventurous spirit and would like to do it, that would be fantastic. After that, we return to our wonderful 5-star hotel, and we give you about 2 hours to rest. And at around 4:30 p.m., 4 p.m., we'll give you about 2 hours. We go to the colonial center of Trujillo, the city where we are now. It's a beautiful colonial center. You can see the photo there. The colors is very well maintained, and it's a very unique event. And we are arriving there at the golden hours, so we can take great photographs. And when we arrive there, we visit the main square, we visit the cathedral, and then in one of the patios of these old Spanish-style old houses, we have a couple that dance. Give us a demonstration of the marinera dance, a beautiful traditional dance of Trujillo, and then they will help us to be our models for some photography in front of the beautiful portals of doors of Trujillo. Then we walk in the middle of the city. We visit a museum that's a beautiful museum, and then we go for dinner to a place that you can only access as a club member. They allow access only to NPE guests, New Paths Expedition guests. We go to the Club Central Club for dinner as our farewell dinner for our trip. Even though we have done the farewell dinner, that's not the end. After this wonderful dinner, we go back to our 5-star hotel, and the next morning we visit something that you cannot miss is the Huaca del Sol y de la Luna, the moon and the sun Huaca. By the way, Huaca is a ceremonial place. It can be a pyramid, it can be a hole in the wall, in a mountain. but it's a ceremonial, sacred place. And this certainly was the Huacas. They were big pyramids, and we will visit their museum and their wonderful and the Huacas itself. So you can see the color. And it's. I don't want to get into the details because that's I reserve it for when we are there. But this is of the Mochica, Chimu culture, and we're going to cover all the details about this culture in during our trip. And then after that, we go for a wonderful farewell lunch, a last pisco sour, and then we fly back from Trujillo to Lima, less than an hour flight, and then you connect with your flight back home. Uh, and that's our Kingdoms of Peru unique expedition. We do it in January, by the way, because that's the early summer days. It's warm, but not too warm. And let's remember that if you don't know, the coast of Peru during winter, during 9 months, is normally covered with a cloud. During January and February and part of and March, it's open and we have blue skies. So it's great for photography and for the colors. It's the ideal time of the year. That's why we do it then. And you can fly back home after that, or you can take one of the extensions. These extensions can be taken as pre or post extension to the Kingdoms of Peru. First one is Caral, which is, you can see it there in the photo, is the oldest city ever to be discovered in the Americas, and one of the oldest in the world. It's about 4 hours away from Lima. It's a day trip. It's actually 2 hours, but because of traffic nowadays, it's a little bit of a nightmare. But so we depart early and we return early also, and we spend the night there. You can also do Colonial Lima if you have not been to Lima before and you want to do the Colonial Center and the Largo Herrera Museum. We have made a small package of 2 days, 1 night. Then of course, Machu Picchu. No one does Machu Picchu better than us, and we don't only concentrate on Machu Picchu, but we do Machu Picchu, the cloud forest. Machu Picchu is located in the cloud forest, so orchids, hummingbirds. At this time of the year, there's a possibility of rain, but also it's the time for orchids are in bloom, so it's a great time to go. And we do. You can see there that we do 8 days, 7 nights, but we can do it shorter if you want. But this is what we recommend to do it properly. And it includes Machu Picchu, the Cloud Forest, and Cusco. Then you can do, of course, one of our wonderful Amazon cruises. You can choose between 3, 4, and 7 nights. This is to the Pacaya-Samiria Reserve, the source of the Amazon, the origin of the Amazon. And you also, another one is our Galapagos cruises. You have multiple different amount of nights that you can take. And we have a fleet of 4 catamarans, stabilized catamarans with a maximum capacity of 16 persons. This is the best cruises, without a doubt, of Galapagos that exist. And another one, of course, is Lake Titicaca with the Taquili Island and the Uros floating reed islands. And we use wonderful Titilaca Hotel to do it. So these are the extension. And for those of you that have not traveled with us before, allow me to mention the NPE standard so you know what you're going to be receiving. Of course, all airport transfers and assistance at all airports are included. When you arrive, when you depart for international flights, we're gonna be there with you with a bottle of water, top quality guides, and of course top quality vehicles. We have bottles of water included with all during all transfers, all tours, excursions, all meals, and all hotel overnight. So you're not gonna run out of water with us. By the way, we provide containers with your name for water containers that we refill constantly to reduce the amount of waste, of course. No, all meals are included except in one dinner because normally some people want to relax that night, or you want to go to make a reservation in one of the famous restaurants in Lima. So one dinner in Lima is not included because of that reason, but all the other meals are included and they are all top notch. Really, this is a fantastic trip for food. Hotels, we use the best available: 2 5 stars, 1 4 star, a 1 3 star, which is the best that exists in the area, and one basic hotel with a lodge, which is Chaparri, and we stay only for 1 night, and we do at least 2 nights at each of the other hotels. We avoid one-nighters as much as possible because you really want to go because of the nature there, but because it's a basic place, we stay for one night, and it's perfectly fine. Hot running water, great food, and you can see the room there on the photo. You're going to be always accompanied by a senior leader. In this case, it's going to be me, and then a local master guide, which is going to be Luis, and of course, we also have naturalists here and there and local guides. We have where the trip has a perfect pacing, and we balance nature and culture, and nature, culture, archaeology. It's all in perfect balance. And we have renowned guest speakers, unique access to the back of the house at Lady of Cow, the Alba archaeologist. These are unique experiences for you. You're not going to find this anywhere else. And by the way, all the gratuities are for luggage handling and restaurant stuff are included. And by the way, before you travel, there's a deposit of $1,500 in order to separate your space, because we only have 14 participants. This is truly a small group. You can see there the departure dates and the prices. You can download the expedition booklet, which has all the details. And of course, you can send me a question via email or just a message. And before the departure, about 120 days before the expedition, you're going to receive our award-winning pre-departure packages, which is a complete pre-departure information, a book about Peru and its customs, its history, a great map of Peru, luggage tags, name tags, and also we provide you beautiful t-shirts that are collectible items. For all our expeditions, we do these t-shirts, and your bottle of water. And of course, you have the support of our in-house support team 24/7 all the time. And this is what I wanted to share about Kingdoms of Peru, a really unique expedition. These are some of the comments of previous guests. I really hope that you join me on this expedition. I recommend you to block your spaces as soon as possible. The group is very small. We are doing one departure this year, and I really hope that you join me on this unique expedition. It really is something else. And the unique events and the access to the back of the house access, you're not going to find anywhere else. And this is going to give you a complete view of a world that is not taught in schools in the US, and that I believe it should. The diversity, cultural, archaeological, and natural diversity of this part of the world deserves the attention of the planet. And that's why we're bringing Kingdoms of Peru to you. And I hope that you join me very soon. This is all I wanted to thank you so much, wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for being today with us. And I really hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Have a great day and see you in Peru very soon.